Pecha. It's been great, very inspiring. Like I said, I'll be back again. This is my second one, and maybe even do one for myself. Yeah.
Hey. Cool. So I'm not an expert in this topic that I'm about to present. I did a lot of research. So I came here in 2006. I ride buses and bicycles, and I don't really drive. But what I'm presenting here is an idea about the future and what's to come. And it's a probable future that's going to come very soon. So I'm going to cover the history of motor vehicles. Mark Twain pretty much is responsible for banning vehicles for a large period of time. He was coming here to escape, and he wanted other people to experience that, so cars were banned. And then the war happened, and that's what happened. Like, the war happened, and then more people were able to drive. So present day, we have about 225 kilometers of paved roads. There's a lot of cars. There's about 47,000 cars on the island. And it's difficult for people to get around, especially disabled people. So yeah, so I was looking at the accidents that occur in Bermuda. And there are about, let's say, 18,000 accidents that have happened in this period of time since I moved here. And out of most of them, about 44% of them result in some form of casualty. And so where are we headed? What we're seeing in the papers these days is more control, more restrictions on cars. So more constrictions, removing the ability to drive, removing the ability to get places. So where are we headed? Robots. It's like removing humans from the equation. So, all right. Yep. So yeah, robots. So they're fully electric, self-driving, self-learning, self-charging, and self-guided. So when? Yes, today. So all these areas that you see are all places where there is testing on public roads of autonomous vehicles, driverless, without a driver. So they're testing these vehicles. Yes, it could be a little bit more granular in certain regions within those regions. So these are the companies that are all involved in this research, and they're pouring lots of money into this. Which is, I don't know, millions and billions of dollars. So this thing is happening. It's moving forward. It's been going on since the 1920s. That's when the first experiments started happening. This car that you see is from the 1950s. It was part of one of the first successful autonomous tests. We've only really started seeing a lot of motion in the last like 5 years. So what you see here is a car that can see all around itself. This is an early prototype from 2009. Now a lot of this system is embedded within the car. It's part of the form factor. You can't even see it. So there's GPS, radar, 3D laser mapping, and a brand of other technologies. What's going on here is there's a problem. It can't deal with weather very well, or extreme weather, rain, and other things. Other challenges, legal, insurance, bureaucracy, culture, and adoption. So yeah, then there's these concerns, privacy. This car will know everywhere that you've gone. And then feed that information back to the government. We can have hackers and rogue AIs. So artificial intelligence is another concern that is sort of on the horizon. You can have rogue AIs. Anyway, so this technology will be disruptive. There's an article recently that Bloomberg predicts that 10 million people in the United States will be out of jobs by 2025 because of this technology coming into place, mostly taxis and people who drive people places and whatnot. But they can be intelligent. And right now, this is a graphic from the Oatmeal. This Matt Inman got a ride in a Google car And so this is sort of the interaction that goes on. They watch for human cues and other cues from other cars to try to decide on how to move forward. Some positives. This is a swimming pool. This is kind of a joke, carpooling. There's a car in a pool. But if you have one of these vehicles, it's possible that you can, vehicle sharing could be a reality. Let's see what else. What else? The environment, I predict, because these things will be fully electric and because hopefully less people will own people will own less cars because they'll be sharing them more. We'll have less cars on the road, and it'll be easier to get around. And then people who are blind, people who are disabled, people who have a hard time getting places will be able to climb into the car and then have a living room experience within their car, drink their morning coffee, and get from one place to another without being constrained with either their disability or just being constrained in general because they like drinking or drinking tea or something. So what about Bermuda? It could be possible. It could probably happen in the next 10, 20 years maybe. Who knows? Or there might be another driving ban on autonomous vehicles. Let's see what else. So, but it could happen sooner. Google, there's an article in the Royal Gazette that Google may be coming, and if that happens, there could be a series of changes that may occur to the island. One of which is an introduction of these Google cars on the island. It's a perfect use case. So thank you. If you're interested in learning more, I've posted the majority of my research at this URL, and you can follow me on Twitter. That's about it. That's my talk. Thanks a lot.
Louis, the future. Yeah.
The future is now.
Yeah, futurist. Anybody have any questions on this car, the vehicle, the future?
Yes. I assume the cars, do they have a manual override?
Right now, so this gets into this whole like insurance and legal business. Right now, a lot of governments are like, yes, we want a manual override. The Google car does not have a manual override. So some companies are having to put them in because governments are asking them to. So.
Yeah, that was, I really enjoyed the presentation just because I'm into motorbikes and stuff like that. I guess what's interesting is that, you know, for a lot of us, the pleasure is actually being in control and going out in the open road and you know, just
that's the culture.
You know, so, you know, for me, I mean, who knows, maybe that might happen in the future where the governments might say in 100 years, you know, humans are too stupid to drive because they crash all the time.
Right.
And you have to sit in this box and get driven around everywhere. Do you think that could be what happens down the road? Or?
Yeah, probably. I mean, there are advancements right now in artificial intelligence that are like AIs might just be like, no. It's like, what was it? The legal system is predicted to be automated by 2030. And so if some AI is then saying like dictating law to us humans, then they might just be like, no, you don't have the right to drive anymore. We're going to drive you around because it's safer. So who knows? I mean, I'm just reading predictions and sharing them with you now, so I have no idea. Could be just a matter of sci-fi.
Hi, Louis, Nick.
Hey.
I was wondering your views on the legal and philosophical issues surrounding the legislation that these new devices are going to have to bring forward. So who's responsible in the event that one of these Google cars runs over a...
I have no idea. I don't really, I mean, I work at a law firm and I see all the intricacies of various sort of laws, and it's just easier to just remove myself from having to make a judgment on that. I don't know. Right now, there's this whole manual override discussion that's going on right now. And so at this point, if there is a manual override, it means that you're always responsible. But as soon as you're no longer have a manual override, who's responsible? I have no idea.
Okay. Hey. So what are the general views on impaired driving for this sort of vehicle? Because it's not impaired driving, really, it's impaired sitting.
If that's the thing, is that if eventually an AI takes over the car and has full sort of control, then yes, then it is, you could be impaired and be sitting in this vehicle, and you're being chauffeured around by a car who's a robot. If that happens, then there's no issue.